What are your thoughts about the use of vibrators and sex toys in marriage or by uh, young people these days? Not just young people, by adults these days. I'm asking this question because of there's a video I just watched now, and I would like you to watch the video. Okay, I don't want to share my thought a little bit before we watch that video. Now, this video is very interesting, and there's a lot of lessons to learn from there. The reason why I find that video very interesting and why I'm asking this question is because I have personally found myself in a situation where somebody I was about getting married to, brought up this topic, which is very good for people because we have people have different ways they satisfy their sexual fantasies and stuff, and it is very good that at the initial stage of marriage that this kind of communications, this kind of conversations take place. So that's why I respect her for doing that. Okay, so we were having this conversation about our marriage and how and certain things, and then she popped a question to me, said, "What is your opinion about the use of sex toys in marriage?" you know. And personally, in answering that question, I was looking at it from two angles. I look at it at the long-term implication for me and for her, and also at the moral standing. Because I believe that the human reproductive system is programmed to function in a specific way, and anything that takes it out of that frequency range, out of that natural frequency range, makes it awkward or abnormal. So that was, and that as person, I don't see it as a moral thing to use. You know what I mean? Then also another reason I also look at when I say the long term implication for myself and her, I believed that if we allow to introduce the use of these vibrators in marriage or relationship, first of all, it takes them with the woman. Like I said earlier, there's a natural frequency range where the human reproductive systems are made to function. So if you take a vibrator, the vibrator will certainly take it outside of that frequency range, which may kind of alter the woman's range for satisfaction, and I'm just trying to make it very, very normal so that I don't go very scientific or use some technical terms because I don't want to go to what I don't understand. So, but in the other part for myself, I believe that for some of you who have seen sex toys like vibrators, for example, there are some that are made to mimic the male reproductive organ, like the penis, for example, and they have ranging sizes. They have the longer ones, the bigger ones, the shorter ones, and stuff. But we as men, this is my train of thought and why I told her it wasn't a good idea. I said we as men we have a fixed size reproductive system. By the time you mature, naturally, it doesn't grow beyond a certain stage. You understand? So we don't have the liberty of pulling one off and putting on a new one or a bigger one or a shorter one based on the desire of that woman. So if she alters her own level of satisfaction and the natural frequency of her own reproductive system, it will get to a point where what I said to her was that we begin to find that, we begin to see that this thing is now too small to satisfy you, or maybe I don't last long enough to satisfy you. You understand? That was my thinking. And even when I got married, a friend of mine, my cousin at the University of Calabar, we were having a conversation. She said to me, "Somewhere now you don't marry, no cheat on your wife, if at any point you discover see that the marriage is becoming boring, you can introduce sex toys, to make to make the relationship or to spice up the marriage. And I told her, look, I don't do those kind of things. You understand? Now, it's not because I'm condemning people who are using it. Like I said, I was explaining my moral grounds and the other reason why I think it is not a good idea to use it. But I ran into this video by Reverend Sam Omoy where a lady in his church asked, because she was saying the situation she created was for people who are in the long distance relationship, like as for a woman who does not want to cheat on her husband, on her boyfriend or husband, is it a good idea to use a vibrator? That was an interesting topic, and I think whatever program they were doing that warranted people to ask such questions was a very good program because it gives an opportunity for people to have these difficult conversations where the church sees it as too much of a question of issues to talk about, and in asking those questions, he went very deep. It's about a long 6 minutes long video, but I've cut it down. I've cut out some parts that I don't think really that I don't think are very relevant, and I just compressed it to about 2 minutes or so that you can watch it and then share your thought. Like I said, I'm not condemning people who are using it. People have their own different moral grounds for whatever they do, and different ways they satisfy their sexual fantasies. But I found this conversation very interesting, and that's why I'm bringing it here. Share your thought in the comment section. What do you think about the idea of using vibrators, especially for the women? vibrators or sex toys or whatever for the women, how do you think it alters their satisfaction range, and how do you think it changes their expectation whenever they meet a man and they are making love or having sex? Okay, so go watch your video and share your thought. Thank you.
The moment you start anything that has to do with artificial stimulation, you have altered your sense of your state of consciousness. Don't forget that a vibrator is a vibrator. It is being assisted to do anything that you want it to do. Either it has a battery connected to electric, or it is naturally positioned to function in a vibrating mode, anything, but it is artificially empowered, right? You see, when you use a vibrator, you likely will use a vibrator to achieve certain levels of sexual excitement that a natural man may not be able to help you to achieve. It's like drugs. Once you start taking cocaine, you start taking heroin, it takes you to a high that you can never take yourself to by nature. So it's very damaging to the psyche. It leads to what we call altered state of consciousness. Your consciousness is altered. Your desired level is altered to a level that is not normal, because you are using things that are not artificial. Now you're going to get a guy. You want him when you now get married. You want him to do all those stuff. Unfortunately, he's not wired to do that. Then you're going to run into problem. Like a woman said to me, she said, Pastor Sam, my husband does not know. She married as a virgin, but she got introduced to this thing. As at the time when she came to speak to me, I went to preach in their church, a popular church here, and I preached on infidelity. She said, Pastor Sam, when people came out that day, their pastor was crying. She said, Pastor Sam, if I had come out that day, the church would scatter. Why? Everybody respects her, including her pastor. But when she came to me, she said, Pastor Sam, as I'm talking to you now, my mother will be ashamed of the girl she raised and sent into marriage as a virgin. I said, why, ma? She says, I'm talking to you now, there are 4 men I'm sleeping with. 4. And she said, Pastor Sam, she said, I don't know where how the wild nature in me got activated. She said, I just can't find satisfaction in one. So vibrators, trust me, if you are into the vibrator business, I'm not telling you to not bring you pleasure, but it will bring you so much pain in the future, because you are going to now start looking for what you can't find in a man. And if you can't find it in your man, you will keep looking for deeper vibrators, bigger vibrators. You're going to be looking for men who can function like vibrators, and certainly you'll not find that within the confines of marriage.